Number 1. The Pyramids of Giza. You knew this one was coming. No list of ancient wonders is complete without the legendary Pyramids of Giza. Monuments so massive, so precise, and so mysterious that we're still trying to wrap our modern minds around them. The Great Pyramid alone is made from 2.3 million stone blocks. Some of these blocks weigh more than a pickup truck, others as much as a small house. And yet, 4,500 years ago, the ancient Egyptians managed to haul, lift, and stack every single one of them with jaw-dropping accuracy. Here's the kicker. They had no cranes, no steel tools, no wheels, and not even pulleys as we know them. So how did they do it? Some say they built massive ramps, either straight up, zigzagging, or spiraling around the pyramid. Others believe they floated the stones down the Nile on barges, using water and sand to help drag them into place. There's even speculation about lost megamachines or forgotten engineering techniques that modern science still can't explain. And let's not forget, the entire structure is mathematically aligned with stars, solstices, and true north, down to fractions of a degree. Coincidence? Genius? Or something else entirely? What we do know is this. Building the Great Pyramid would have taken a colossal workforce, insane coordination, and decades of relentless effort. It's the kind of project that makes you question everything you thought you knew about ancient civilizations. And after all these centuries, the pyramids are still standing, unchallenged, unforgettable, and undeniably epic. Number 2. The rocks at Sacsayhuaman. High in the Peruvian Andes lies one of the most jaw-dropping construction feats of the ancient world, Sacsayhuaman, a massive stone fortress built by the Inca. But this isn't just a wall. It's a masterclass in ancient engineering. The stones used to build Sacsayhuaman are enormous, some weigh between 100 to 120 tons. That's the weight of a blue whale or a fully loaded Boeing jet. And yet, these gigantic rocks are cut and fitted together with such insane precision that you can't even slide a piece of paper between them. No mortar, no modern tools, no cranes, just stone on stone, locked so tightly that even after centuries of earthquakes, the structure is still standing strong. So how did they do it? Some theories are wild. Like the Incas used giant lenses to focus the sun's rays and melt the rock. Others suggest natural fires. But let's be real. Melting stone with a campfire? That's a hard no. The truth is, we still don't know how they managed it. Sacsayhuaman wasn't just a showpiece. It was a military stronghold protecting the Incan capital of Cusco. It had to be strong. It had to last. And clearly it did. Sadly, when the Spanish arrived, they treated the fortress like a free hardware store, dismantling it piece by piece to build their own colonial structures in Cusco. What's left is just a fraction of its former glory, but even that is enough to blow your mind. Number 3. The Stone Globes of Costa Rica. Deep in the jungles and fields of Costa Rica, scattered across the landscape, are hundreds of giant stone spheres, some weighing up to 15 tons and measuring over 2 meters across. Perfectly round, mysteriously placed, and no one really knows why they exist. There are over 300 of these massive stone globes, crafted by the now extinct Diquis culture. These weren't local rocks, either. They were hauled in from miles away, dragged over hills and through dense jungle, without wheels, cranes, or metal tools. Then they were hammered, shaped, and polished until they were smooth as marbles. But here's the real mystery. What were they for? Some believe the spheres pointed the way to the homes of tribal chiefs. Others say they were part of a complex astronomical system, maybe even used to track the stars or lunar cycles. There are even theories that they aligned with constellations or seasonal changes. But there's no written record, no carvings, and no clear answers. Fast forward to the 1930s, banana companies were clearing land when they stumbled upon these massive stones. Not realizing their value, some workers blew them up with dynamite, thinking there might be gold inside. What was lost? We'll never know. What remains? A haunting reminder that even the most silent artifacts can echo a civilization's genius. Number 4. Damascus Steel. Picture this. You're a European knight during the Crusades, charging into battle with your finest sword, and then you come face to face with an Islamic warrior wielding something out of a legend. His blade slices through your weapon like it's warm butter. Welcome to the terrifying world of Damascus Steel. These swords were unlike anything Europe had ever seen. Razor sharp, incredibly flexible, and strong enough to bend without breaking. They could even cut a floating handkerchief midair. No joke. On top of that, the blades had these hypnotic, watery patterns running through them, like rivers frozen in metal. So how did they make them? No one knows. The technique has been completely lost to time. Some think the blacksmiths used a special kind of steel called woots, imported from India or Iran, and combined it with organic materials, maybe even plant matter, to create a unique chemical reaction in the forging process. Despite all our modern metallurgy, we still can't perfectly recreate it. And here's the twist. Even though it's called Damascus steel, it wasn't actually made in Damascus. That city was just the most famous marketplace for buying these legendary blades. Think of it as the ancient Amazon for elite weaponry. So next time someone says ancient people were primitive, remind them, they were making swords we still can't figure out. Number 5. The Antikythera mechanism. Imagine you're a diver exploring a shipwreck off the coast of a Greek island. You expect to find the usual stuff, broken pottery, coins, maybe a rusty sword. But instead, you pull up the world's first analog computer. Seriously, this crusty lump of bronze, and what turned out to be a piece of ancient engineering so advanced, it blew historians' minds. It's called the Antikythera mechanism, and it was built by the ancient Greeks over 2,000 years ago. This wasn't just a fancy calendar. It could track the movements of the sun and moon, predict eclipses, and even tell you when the next Olympic Games were happening. It was like the Swiss Army knife of astronomy, and way ahead of its time. Nothing this complex showed up again in history for another 1,200 years. That's like finding a smartwatch in a medieval castle. We're still trying to understand how the Greeks even built this thing. The gears inside are ridiculously precise, with interlocking teeth and mechanisms that seem almost impossible to make without modern tools. Who created it? How did they design it? Why haven't we found more? The Antikythera mechanism proves that ancient civilizations were not just thinking, they were calculating in ways we're only beginning to understand. Number 6. Stradivari violins. Let's talk about the Ferrari of musical instruments, the Stradivarius violin. Between 1650 and 1750, the Stradivari family in Italy handcrafted violins that are still blowing people's minds today. These instruments aren't just old, they're legendary. The sound they produce is so pure, so rich, so magical, that even with all our modern tech, we still can't replicate it. Scientists have scanned them, x-rayed them, studied the wood under microscopes, but no one can figure out exactly why they sound so good. Was it the special wood? A secret varnish recipe? The way they were aged and carved? Maybe all of it. Or maybe something we haven't even guessed yet. And because we can't recreate them, original Stradivarius violins are now insanely valuable. We're talking millions of dollars for a single instrument. Some are treated like rare art pieces. Others are kept in vaults. A few lucky musicians still get to play them, but only under tight security. They've become such hot commodities that some have been stolen and disappeared without a trace, like priceless treasure lost to time. So yeah, the Stradivari family didn't just make violins, they made legends. And we're still trying to catch up. Number 7. Greek fire. Imagine being in the middle of a sea battle. You think you've got the upper hand, until the enemy lights up the ocean, literally. That's Greek fire. The Romans, or more accurately, the Byzantine Empire, discovered a terrifying chemical cocktail that created fire no one could put out. This stuff didn't care about water. In fact, splashing water on it made it burn hotter. It clung to ships, to soldiers, to anything it touched, and it just kept burning. Byzantine ships were equipped with tubes that sprayed Greek fire like ancient flamethrowers, or they'd hurl it in grenades onto enemy vessels. Imagine sailing in, ready for battle, and suddenly your ship is engulfed in flames you can't extinguish. Total chaos. The exact recipe was kept under lock and key, one of the best-guarded secrets of the empire. Historians think it might have involved pine resin, quicklime, sulfur, and maybe even petroleum. But no one knows for sure. It's like trying to reverse engineer a lost superweapon using only rumors and ashes. And honestly, we're not even sure if Greek fire was really that unstoppable, or if people were just terrible at firefighting back then. Either way, it gave the Byzantines a massive edge at sea, and their enemies nightmares for centuries. Number 8. Roman flexible glass. Now this next one sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Picture this. Thousands of years ago, an inventor in ancient Rome didn't create a new weapon or fancy chariot. He made a bowl. But not just any bowl. This thing was made of glass that didn't break. You could drop it, and instead of shattering into pieces, it just got a small dent. Like rubber. Then the inventor would grab a hammer, tap out the dent, and boom, it's good as new. Feeling confident, the inventor takes his miracle bowl straight to Emperor Tiberius. Drops it in front of him, bam, not a scratch. Then casually pulls out a hammer and fixes the dent like it's no big deal. Now, you'd expect the emperor to be thrilled, right? Reward the guy with gold and fame? Nope. Tiberius starts panicking. Why? Because in his mind, if unbreakable glass becomes a thing, gold and silver dishes will become worthless. And that's bad news for an emperor who wants to protect Rome's economy and his own wealth. So what does he do? He has the inventor executed to keep the secret buried forever. To this day, we don't know if this story is fact or legend. But if that bowl was real, the knowledge of how to make it died with its creator. Number 9. The Lycurgus Cup. At first glance, it looks like just another ancient Roman artifact. But hold it up to the light, and boom, it glows red. Look at it head on, and it's green. Magic? Not quite. This 4th century Roman cup is actually using ancient nanotechnology. The Romans mixed insanely tiny particles of gold and silver into the glass. So small, the naked eye can't detect them. But they're the reason this cup changes color depending on where the light hits it. Here's the kicker. Scientists believe the Romans may have pulled this off completely by accident. Because if it wasn't, and they actually knew what they were doing, well, we have absolutely no idea how they figured it out. Making something like the Lycurgus Cup today takes cutting-edge modern tech, and we've only recently begun to replicate it. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.